Hey, it's Shay, and this is Shay Writes, and I am so excited for this video that I have today because today we're going to be counting down my top 5 favorite troops. So, for anyone who doesn't know, troops are patterns, conventions, or devices that you can find in pretty much any media books, movies, anything. Recently, troops have kind of gotten a bad name amongst writers, especially. Um, a lot of writers are told not to use them in their works because they're like cliches. People say they're overused, unoriginal, and unrealistic. In reality, tropes really aren't good or bad. There's a reason why they're so popular. Their main use is as a tool to bring something across to the reader or audience. Good tropes can go bad, and bad tropes can be really good. So, keeping in mind that the most important thing to think about with troops is the writing and not the troop itself, a lot of people have their own troops that they prefer. And I'm no exception to that rule. So, without any further ado, these are my top 5 all time favorite troops. Number 1, the badass normal. You know what's cooler than a superpowered person in a world full of magic or superpowers or what have you? A non superpowered person in that exact same setting that kicks just as much ass. Sure, all of us wish someone would tell us that we were a wizard, Harry, or that we had the ability to make it rain literally whenever we wanted, but there's something about seeing a guy whose power level is almost attainable. Note, I say almost attainable. A lot of us aren't rich billionaires whose parents were killed. Punch Wizard Hitler in the face. Number 2, enemies to friends to lovers. Most of the troops on this list are from tvtroops.com, a website that catalogs common troops in all sorts of media. It's also a great place on the internet to go to happily waste hours of your time. However, none of the troops that I could find there could quite fit what I had in mind for this troop. The closest I could find was Pho Yeh, which is romance between enemies, but that's not quite what I mean for this troop. This troop is not quite romance between enemies and not quite romance between friends. The actual process is highly important for me. Enemies to friends, then lovers, in that order. This troop gives you the best of both worlds. The cutting banter and sexual tension of the enemies, and the friendly banter and absolute devotion of the friend. Number 3, the battle couple. Whenever the media manages to get over their fear of having couples actually be together for any significant amount of time, the best couple, the god tier couple, if you will, is the battle couple. As outlined on the TV Troops page, this troop involves badass back-to-back fighting scenes, bickering in the middle of the fight, glad to be alive, really hot, intense sex, and, if I'm lucky, a scene in which either one of them gets hurt and the other one goes into berserk mode trying to protect them, and thus proving that they truly did love each other all along. They are also apparently highly resistant to break up because their bond was forged in battle. Truly the power couple. Number 4, jerk with a heart of gold. Okay. I know why people may or may not find this troop questionable. I understand why people may raise their eyes at a troop that they might see as condoning asshole-ish behavior. But listen, everyone is allowed their one guilty pleasure, alright? And I am by far not the only person or girl that is into this trope. There's just something about it that I really like, and played right, Jerk with the Heart of Gold is infinitely better than the nice guy who feels entitled to have you, or the guy who wants a prize for basic decency, or the adorable misogynist. Number 5, the Big Brother Instinct. Last but not least, this troop is absolutely the bomb. And just a note, it absolutely extends to big sisters, at least for me. There's just something about that protective dynamic that I just can't get enough of. This trait pops up over and over with my favorite characters. It doesn't matter if they're both kids, adults, a kid and adult, if they're 10 years apart in age or 1 year apart, it gets me every time. Maybe I appreciate the acknowledgement that platonic or familial bonds can be just as important as romantic or sexual ones. Maybe I just like what that says about a character. Maybe it's a little bit of both. And those were my favorite troops, my bread and butter. Let me know what your favorite troops are. And stay tuned for the part 2 to this video where I discuss my top 5 least favorite troops. Honestly, that should be just as fun. Um, yeah, thanks for watching and see you soon.